Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a Nandos. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button as it helps me and the channel out very much. And without any further ado, let's get started. This is the amount of space required to make Nandos, a 27 by 21 block area as represented by the white concrete grid on the ground, which I would always recommend making if you are planning out a city. It can only help. Here are all of the materials that you will need to make your build. Please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. So now that we have all of that stuff, we can get started. Step 1, if you have made the grid, come all the way over to the front left hand corner of it. From the corner, count right 1, 2, 3, and then inwards 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to start off by placing 8 black concrete on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're then going to extend right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we can join all the way down to the ground, just like this. Take the block that hit the ground and extend back by 2, 1, 2, and then we want to extend that second block to the right by 3 using glass pane, 1, 2, 3, specifically black. Then place a spruce plank, 3 more glass, 1, 2, 3, spruce plank, 3 more glass, 1, 2, 3, spruce plank, and now we are going to start extending backwards. We're actually going to do the exact same thing that we've just done. So 3 glass pane, 1, 2, 3, then a plank, 3 glass pane, plank, 3 glass pane, plank. I've just placed the planks preemptively because it was just a little bit easier that way. They're a bit far away from each other, these two materials. Across the back of the build, we want to extend the spruce wood planks to the right by 11. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It should line up with that glass over there. Place a black concrete on the end, extend outwards by 2, and then extend across by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up by 5 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to extend this 5th block inwards by 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We then want to extend up and forwards, and we can also extend down, although we may be altering this a little bit later on. But this is pretty much the base shape of your Nandos. If you like, what you can do is also extend the top across, join forwards like this. So this is sort of like the top of your Nandos, and we kind of have the floor plan laid out for us now. So I'm actually quite happy with this. It's looking pretty good. So something that we can do now, and we'll probably alter things as we go on a little bit later, but on the left side of the Nandos, we are going to connect the bottom together. We want to have 2 rows of window, 1, 2. Then we're going to have 1, 2, 3 rows of black concrete. And we are then, above the 3 rows of black concrete, also going to have another row of windows. So just on the left side here, this is what we want to have, just like this, just to add a little bit of detail to the side of the build. However, this entire left side otherwise is going to be black concrete. Reason being is because this is the kitchen area for Nandos, so there's not actually loads and loads of room. If you want to, if you're like, it's a bit boring, the entire build's black, let's add a little bit of spruce if you like. So it's completely up to you whether you want to do this or not, you know. It was just striking me that, like, a load of black concrete just together like that, it just didn't seem quite right. I don't know what it was about it, but it just didn't. Like, it just seemed a little bit too boring. And maybe if we add some spruce to the side of it, it doesn't look too bad. I'm quite happy with that. It kind of like blends things up a little bit. The back here isn't too bad because we are going to have another window. So if you place a row of black concrete just at the bottom here, extend this left side up, connect across, add a row of, just a single row of black glass I think will do, and then if we just fill the rest of this in using black concrete, just like this, I think that that looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. That doesn't look too bad. The spruce planks, all the way. By the way, also, is what I was trying to say, is we can just raise up these 2 rows of black concrete as well. And then we can extend up this entire row of spruce wood planks at the back by 2 entire rows, because we're also going to have stuff against the wall here at the back. And that doesn't look too bad, because it's not just like a big, massive, dark void now. Now that we've added a little bit of spruce to it, I'm quite happy. So when it comes to the sides, we're going to raise up the spruce planks each by 2. So, well, I say the sides, the front and the side there, the spruce planks can get extended up by 2. We can also fill this area in here with the black concrete as well, where we have the 2 rows of black concrete to form a solid wall. And then here's where things get a little bit interesting, in that we want to add an additional row of black glass pane onto the pane. And notice that I said that on top of the glass pane, the single row, we want to have 2 rows of black glass pane. We then, for the top row, want to have black glass block. So it gives us an ever so slightly different sort of style. And it'll look a little something like this, so it looks quite cool. But then, we then want to add a row of spruce slabs all the way around the edge of this, so this is going to be present on the entire, like, the front, left, and back sides of this. So it'll look a little something like this. We then want to use stripped oak wood, and how do I explain this? Basically, on top of the spruce plank parts, the vertical rows in between the glass, we want to have 2 stripped oak wood extending upwards, and also in front as well. So when it gets to the corner here, we're just going to extend up the corner like this. Well, I mean, I guess you could place some behind like that, although it might not look very good. So we will probably not do that, but on the sides you certainly can. And we also want to have I know that we don't have these on the back, like we don't have the same vertical rows, but if you just copy it from the front, it might actually be a mistake to add the stripped oak behind. Like, I only designed it to have the 1 row, so I think that we'll actually remove the back row. I thought that it might look good, sort of like reinforcing it, but now that I look at it, I think that it looks a little bit stupid. So, I mean, if you want to have it that way, I mean, you know, you feel free, but not me. So now that we have done that, I'm starting to feel as though that we should connect up some of the black part of the building a little bit more. So for the black part of the building, I'm going to connect the right side front to back, just like this. I'm going to connect the top downwards as well, again, just like this. I'm going to make sure that we have a little bit of glass all the way around the inside of the top, just like so. The very top of this can just be black glass block, actually. I don't want the same for the back part though, because like I said, it's a kitchen area. It just doesn't seem right to me to have like a load of natural light coming in from the ceiling. I mean, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right, so I'm not going to do that, but feel free to do that for yourself. Next thing that we're going to do is we are going to fill in between all of the oak and spruce. Well, actually, just in between the oak, really, is we are going to add glass pane. So that'll be 2 rows of it, of course, just like this, in between, just to get all of this filled in. As I try my best here. I always find it very difficult. Maybe I've just got bad hand-eye coordination. But, nah. No, come on. I'm so bad. It's so much easier on PC. There we go, perfect. So now that we have done that, we are then going to add a row of spruce slabs on top of this further, just like this. Here, and also here. What? My bad. Here. Perfect. So there we go. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So that's what the outside of Nandos should look like at the moment. But we have, one more thing. All we want to do is we want to fill the top of this in using glass. So pretty much the sandwich between the layer of spruce slabs just up at the top here, we're going to add, I don't know where the H came from. We are going to add another row of glass block. And then around the top of that, we will add a final row of spruce slabs. So, you know, that looks a little bit weird as is. So, hence why we want to add just another row, a final row, if you will, of spruce slabs. I actually sort of liked the restaurant. I sort of liked it where it was just before, if that makes sense. So, hang on. So that connects there, that's all fine. So I sort of liked it even without the glass and that, like I sort of liked it where it was, but it just seemed, it seemed weird to add a layer of glass block behind where this glass pane would be. So that's why we made it a little bit higher. Maybe you didn't even consider that or think that to yourselves, but I certainly did. Anyway, when it comes to the entrance, we are going to have another, basically we've got glass pane all the way through the top, so we're going to consistently have that all the way even on the front as well. We're going to have 2 rows of black concrete directly below this. Maybe even red, maybe we'll use 2 rows of red concrete because the sign is going here. Let's place it against a red backdrop and let's see if that looks any good. We can always change it later if not. We want to have room for an entrance, so we're going to have a vertical split here on the left with just a single, just enough room to get one person through. And then on the right here, we're going to have windows. But as I should have probably have done everywhere else, I want to have black concrete underneath the windows, and that's basically that, by the way. I'm going to use a stripped oak wood where the door will be. We'll have an actual physical door. But now I'm going to just dig underneath all of the windows and replace it. Would red look dumb? Okay, so originally, I wanted black. I mean, you know, it just makes sense. Like, black and red is sort of, you know, it's just like part of the logo. But I'm sort of thinking, like, we've got a lot of black already. Like, but the problem is, like, black does look so nice and sleek, and it just does look so clean. Whereas with the red, I don't know whether it looks a little bit silly. But I mean, it's a very small change, and maybe we can even... You see, it kind of looks a little... I think it stands out too much. I think that black concrete is the way to go. Well, let's sit with it for a bit, but I'm almost certain that that's going to be changed back in a bit. Okay, the Nandos logo. You probably can make it with a banner. I couldn't. So I have opted to make a giant logo out of concrete and carpet. So... first red concrete that I'm going to place is here. So it's the middle window on the front, lower half of the middle window, red concrete. Black concrete on the left, above, to the right, in the corners, and I'm also going to extend the top up by 2, 1, 2. Birch button inside of there, smooth quartz stairs to the right, red concrete on top. We'll finish that bit off later. So, on the left side of this, I'm going to place what I will refer to as a corner of red concrete. Underneath the red concrete at the bottom, I'm going to place a black concrete. Now, that is most of the Nandos logo, most of the chicken complete. However, we are missing black carpet, red carpet, string, and for this next part also, we're going to be using black concrete, we'll be using some black glass pane, and a lot more stuff as well. I mean, honestly, like smooth stone, maybe we'll even add the hedge, so dark oak leaves. Any leaves will do, actually, I didn't mean to grab those. Any flowers will do, and maybe even the grass block as well, or dirt if you're not in creative. So, underneath the chicken here, we want to have, and this is slightly tricky, or chicky, as one might say, we want to have, because it's a chicken. Anyway, so I want to have black carpet. It's much easier to show you. I want to have black carpet kind of like left and right of the black concrete block that we have here, just to kind of make it look as though that the chicken has feet. I'm sure you'll know how to accomplish that. We want to extend the head plumage. On the top, we want to place a red carpet. Left of this, string. On top of it, red carpet. So we want to have something which should look like this. Now that we've done this, and I'm quite happy with that, we have to add a sort of like a border around Nando's. So we're going to place a row of black concrete here, starting from the front left corner of the boundary. We're going to extend a row of black concrete from the front all the way to the back. We're kind of just going to join it together like this. We're going to do the same. We're going to like extend it through, and it's going to extend all the way along to the right side of the boundary. And we're going to extend a row of black concrete all the way to the front. However, and I don't know why I've done this exactly, but on the original, I have staggered the wall. So let's just take that back one block like this, and that's exactly how it will be. However, we do also want to have a black concrete block placed parallel to this spruce plank here on the outer boundary. So when I say it's staggered, if you can see what I mean, we're going to destroy underneath, or, well, I guess it's not underneath anything yet, but we're going to destroy the white concrete here in between the two rows of black concrete, and we're going to place a row of glass pane in between them. On the left side here, we're going to have rows of leaves extending from the front to the back, with flowers in front of the leaves, just like this. Perfect. And now that we have done that, I don't think that we have... Oh, on the right side of the build, all the way at the back, I'm just going to have grass here. And then probably just... I'll extend the grass through. And I'll place flowers in the grass. It's either flowers or ferns. It doesn't actually matter whatsoever. But anyway, we want to have this, which will then allow us to add a... Basically, it's kind of a floor. I was going to say a path, but it's not a path. It's just an entire floor. I'm going to dig out all of the grass remaining in the boundary, and I'm going to replace it using smooth stone. Now that I've considered it, I'm removing the red concrete because I just do not like how that looks whatsoever. And I'm going to replace it with the black concrete. Yes, that is all. So we're kind of just shaping this up for us to do the outside. There is a nice little outside area to Nando's. There's a few things going on. We've got plenty of tables out here. We have a little sort of like reception area as well. We have lots of plants and flowers and stuff everywhere. No, we don't have the materials out for them at the moment, but I should place the black concrete before I cover the area up with stone. But it's oh, my bad. I'm sorry, Mr. Chicken. I'm sorry. I'll replace your feet. I promise. I don't want you to. I don't want you to be able to. Oh, he'd have to hop around. He wouldn't even be able to walk anymore. Although, if the chicken's at Nando's, it's probably not got to worry about. It's probably not got to worry about being able to walk anymore because, well, you know what they serve at Nando's. Anyway, so we're going to... Oh, got to fill that in using black concrete as well. Smooth stone in between all of this. And just before I replace the chicken's foot... There we go. Perfect. And if you wanted to, like, I don't want to do all of this, like, I would then integrate this into a street, or if you are placing this, say, on, like, a retail park or wherever, that's up to you. Like, just make sure that it blends into its environment. Like, I mean, these are kind of, like, everywhere. I mean, if you're in the UK, I don't know if it's international or not, but you guys know where you'd find these, and, I mean, you could, but it wouldn't look amiss in, like, most places, like, whether it's on sort of like a retail park or in a town or a city, or, like, maybe just off a road or something. Like, these things are literally everywhere, so, you know, just integrate it into its environment as you need to. Now that we have hit this part, we are now going to do, as I mentioned, kind of like the outside area. So that requires spruce trapdoors, ferns, pots, birch fence, birch pressure plate, spruce fence. We also need chains. We also need red carpet, and also spruce wood slabs. But we need more stuff as well. So the spruce wood planks, or spruce wood trapdoors rather, are for the little grass area that we have at the back here. So we just want to place trapdoors just so that kind of like integrates into the area. I want to place a table, and the table is made up of 2 birch fence for every time that we have a row of spruce planks in the build. So the tables are going to be opposite the building, and we're going to have birch fence, and we're going to have birch pressure plates on top of the birch fence. Feel free to re-top the tables with something else if you like. I'm going to have benches for the outside. So this is basically just spruce wood slabs either side of the tables, just like this. And that's perfect. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it. If you like, you can place on the wall to the right here just some flower pots with some ferns in them, just like next to the table, because we can't actually place them on the table, which is unfortunate. So we also want to have some tables on the front. These are also going to be parallel to where we have the splits in where we have these splits in the building, so where the spruce is. So that is birch fence with birch trapdoors on top and spruce wood slabs either side of the tables, just like this. And there we go, looking pretty good. Quite happy with that. Nothing really in front. I mean, we could add another one. Shall we see how it looks with another one? So we'd need like just a gap of one, and we can then place like another table, and we can see if it's suitable. I mean, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? So I'm quite happy with that, and all we have to do is kind of like so. Like for this next part, I'm going to keep the chain and the red carpet. But I'm going to grab the grey glazed terracotta, which I think might be a mistake. I might use brown, some leaves, and a lectern. And yeah, I think I'm going to get rid of the grey glazed terracotta. I think I would prefer the brown, just because it's sort of a... I don't know, it just seems better. So, okay. At the front of at the entrance here, I'm going to have brown glazed terracotta on the left and right side. So it's just going to sit behind this little boundary here. And it's going to have oak leaves on top of it, and I want to kind of create a barrier, so that's going to be a couple of chains with red carpet on top. I said on top, there we go. And then I'm going to have a lectern here, and that's kind of just like a, oh, do you have a booking, sir? Oh, what's the name? Oh, Bumbleberry, yes, with me inside. So that's what that's for. So, Bumbleberry. And then we want to add basically just sort of like planters all over the place. So the brown glazed terracotta. So do we want to sort? No, that's fine. So brown glazed terracotta, oak leaves on top, will do just fine. And I don't think we have to swarm everywhere. I think that will actually do. Oh, we also have a use for the spruce fence now that I think about it as well. In my mind, I want to have spruce fence here and here. And that is just kind of like, it looks like a door opener, you know? Or at least I think it does anyway. So I've also realized now why I don't have red concrete here in the original. It's because Nandos actually spans the entire front of this part of the building. So we can't have red concrete on the corners because that would look crazy. So, well, I mean, I guess you could. We can always change it, but basically, so where we have this red concrete area, where we had, or where we are now going to rehab here, like, you'd have to have it all the way through. Don't know whether that would look a little bit weird or not, but ladies and gentlemen, we've actually got to the part where, like, I've kind of exhausted most of these materials. We will be needing some of them later on again, but I'm going to have to grab some different ones now. So I'm going to have to figure out exactly what we're going to need. Some of them we will have used before, but hey, what can you do? Back in a moment. Alright, so it turns out that we need so many materials, so this isn't going to be the only set of materials that we are going to be grabbing, but here are all of the materials that we are going to be using for this part in particular. Please make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. Okay, so we're going to start off with the loom, black banner, red dye, black dye, stripped oak wood, stripped spruce wood, black concrete, spruce wood slabs, and beehives. I know, weird set of materials. So we're going to throw down the loom and we're going to start making the sign. So for the sign, and honestly, actually, We should probably chuck everything out that we don't need to make the sign. So we're going to start off with a black banner in there, red dye, and we have to make an N. So that's 2 vertical rows of red, left and right, with a diagonal row, top left corner to bottom right corner. That looks like the Netflix logo. And there we go, we have our N. So then we have to make an A. So A is quite easy. It's, again, we sort of start off with both of the vertical rows at left and right side, then a horizontal row across the top, and a horizontal row through in the middle. A. So N, A, N. You may have to make another N if you aren't in creative mode, but then we have to make a D, which is ever so slightly more tricky. So we have to start off with our black banner here with our red dye, and then we're going to place a vertical row of red on the right. Grab that, throw that out. We need to get rid of the red dye and throw black dye in, and we're looking for the diamond shape. So we'll do the diamond shape, grab that, throw that in, throw the black dye out, throw the red dye in, and then we simply need to place a horizontal row at the bottom, horizontal row at the top, and a vertical row on the left, and boom, we have Nando. So far we have Nad, but we have to have an O now. So vertical row on the left, right, horizontal row across the top, and the bottom, boom, we have Nado. Finally, we just have to make our final letter, which is an S, so that's a horizontal row across the bottom, across the top, and then a diagonal row, top left corner to bottom right corner, and then we have Nandos. So, for the sign, and I'm starting to already realise I don't think the sign will actually look good in red because it won't pop as much. All of this deliberation over the sign, and I'm just coming back to what we started with. So I'm gonna get rid of this red because I don't like it. I don't think it works with the sign. So just across the top of the door, just A and Nandos. Nandos, perfect. Easy as that. Really just makes the restaurant pop. Looking pretty good. Now, I'm going to get rid of everything but the black concrete because we will need that again. And that is, yeah, perfect. That's exactly what we want to have. So now that we have done the sign, we can actually head inside. And inside here, we're going to start off with the black dye, and we will also need, of course, the stripped oak wood, the stripped spruce. How has the loom ended up back in here? The spruce wood slabs, beehives. We'll even need like item frames. We'll need paper. We need a load of stuff, but also addition to that, we also need the chiseled quartz block. But let's start actually doing some of the inside here. So we are first of all going to take the black concrete area here that is just like before where the windows start extending over. We're going to leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black concrete. Extend the 5th block upwards because that is significant. That wants to touch the ceiling. Because of my contrast settings, I can barely see. This is like the entrance to the kitchen, so we actually want to leave like a gap of 1 for the entrance, and then we want to have a row of black concrete, and then we actually want to have, like in the middle of here, I'm just going to place an item frame so I can actually see. I'm going to have an item frame with a bit of paper in it, because that's going to look like an order, and I want to have like enough room for an entrance, but I also want to have like a window open, you know, so like the servers and cashiers and stuff, they can give like the orders to the cooks, which would be in here, and then your food gets cooked and spiced and all of that. So I'm now going to seal up this part of the restaurant, just the little right side here. All of this is going to get sealed up. I want to make the rest of the counter, so I'm just going to leave a gap of 1 and then place a row of black concrete here across the back. Beehives across the bottom because it just sort of like fits the vibe. It sort of looks like drawers or something like that. We are also going to, I'm not going to place that yet. So we really should start to think about the floor. So the floor isn't complicated, but for the inside of the kitchen area, I might grab red or black concrete. Or I suppose I could use red carpet, but okay, so for the inside of the kitchen, I want the floor to be chiseled quartz. It just makes sense. It looks clean. It's kind of like a sanitary sort of looking floor. Chiseled quartz. I want to say hardened quartz, but I know that's not. Quartz bricks. Hardened quartz. Is that even a thing? How long have I been playing this game? So I'm actually going to also floor the kind of like the counter area as well, but I'm actually going to put red carpet here because I want to distinguish between that and everywhere else. So this is kind of like I said, this is where the cashier would be. Put your order in. This is where the kitchen is. For everywhere else, basically, we want to have a two-tone floor. It's kind of like a tile floor, really. It's sort of cool. I've not done a floor like this in a little while, and I mean, I don't want it to sound as though like it's the most exciting floor known to man. He uses not one but two colors. So we're just going to alternate in a checkered pattern between the oak and the spruce logs. So that's pretty much the entire deal, and it looks kind of nice. It looks a little bit rustic. It looks a little bit, I don't know, it's just kind of got the vibe. So this is the entrance. We already have placed a stripped oak, so a spruce would go behind it. It looks a little bit dark on bedrock. It doesn't look as dark on Java, unless I'm using a different wood, but I don't think I am. No, I am not. So we'll just roll with it. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so what we then want to do is, I mean, you guys know how a checkered pattern works. You're just alternating between two blocks, and that's how we want to fill in the rest of the floor. It would be easier for us to fill in the floor before we start messing about with it. So obviously we've got a load of tables, because Nando's, we've got some like self-serve stations and stuff, and yeah, we've just kind of got a lot of stuff about. My TV's trying to turn itself off. We'll stop it doing that. We're not done yet, TV. Don't try and stop us. You never will. And after we've done the floor, I think that we're going to concern ourselves with everything like that area. So like everything like inside the counter space, get all of that done, get all of the kitchen done, because we actually need different materials for the rest of Nando's. I know that we've used so many already, but I guess we just need quite a few. So we'll get all of this filled in. Oh, we also have some weird stuff to do with the ceiling. Like every single one that I've ever been to, and like as I was doing some research on Google images and stuff, like these ceilings are always quite interesting. So we're going to be using some like some spruce wood slabs to create some lattice work to kind of like create just kind of like lower the ceiling a bit and just kind of like create a close interesting sort of vibe. They are quite artistic in Nando's, so it's I don't know, it's just sort of like interesting to be in here. That's why I tried to make this building in particular a lot different from most of my other sort of, I don't want to call this fast food, or that, you know, it's sort of, I guess it is a restaurant at the end of the day, but I just sort of wanted to make it a little bit different. So now that we've kind of like done the floor, we're going to use spruce wood slabs, and this is how we're going to start things off. I'm going to place spruce wood slabs on top of the spruce wood plank rows that we have, the vertical rows of spruce wood plank. So just all the way around the edge here, like this. I want to connect them all together. So we don't have to connect them together around the edge on top of the glass, because I think that might ruin the vibe a little bit, but I do want to connect them together on the inside, like this. So here, and then, oh, I guess if I drop down here, this should be perfect. So again, I don't want to make it sound as though it's more impressive than it is, but I just think it creates a vibe. Like with the glass, it's a little bit modern. With the black concrete, it's a little bit modern, but we've also kind of got like that sort of like old rustic sort of vibe. I quite like it, and I don't know if this row even goes all the way over here, but we are extending it over anyway. And we should also, so a row would go here if things were carrying on logically. So this can extend across and this can connect to the kitchen. And then I don't think that we need another one here, because then this can be just nice and open. Although one would go, I mean, thinking about it, like one would go here. But I don't know whether that looks a little bit weird. Like, I'll leave it for now, but I have a feeling that that is going to be removed. So, I think it completely changes the vibe in here now that we've done that. I'm very, very happy with it. Okay, next up. So, we have to... I'm going to do, like I said, the outside sort of counter space here. So, I want to have... I'm going to extend this spruce wood row across the top here, where we have all of these beehives, and I'm going to attach item frames to them. Or maybe I'll even drop down a row... Actually, because I don't want them faced upwards like this, I'll drop a half a row down, and then I'll place the item frames hanging off like this. That's perfect. That's how I want them. On the left side here, like we're just gonna have to grab the materials. So we need some glass, we need the red carpet, we need flower parts, quartz stairs, weighted pressure plate, cooked chicken, of course, cake. We also need spruce saplings and probably many more. So cooked chicken, that's going to go inside of the item frames, of course. We're going to have a cake back here because they do desserts, and a couple of flower pots across the back. Going to even have like a flower pot next to this cake, glass, red carpet, that just looks like something non-specific. On the corner here, I'm going to have a spruce sapling just because it sort of fits the vibe, a till, a weighted pressure plate just because, again, it just sort of fits, and it just looks like a nice cozy ordering area now. I'm quite happy with that. I like how that's turned out. Now, inside of the kitchen, a little bit different inside here. So inside of the kitchen, let's grab some different stuff. I don't even know if we have everything, but I think that we do. So we're going to need light grey concrete, furnaces, cauldron, tripwire hook, detector rail, quartz detector rail at your service, quartz stairs, item frame, paper. I only just thought about that right now. It's funny how things hit you. And then we need a block of iron, and we'll need some more stuff as well. But in the kitchen, first of all, we're going to have cookers, obviously, furnaces, gap of 1, quartz stairs above, have some rails on top of those, kind of create a sink by using light grey concrete, cauldron, light grey concrete, tripwire hook. I kind of want to make a, how do I describe, kind of like a, you know, how do I describe that? It's like where you keep the orders. So like, you know, like the paper, it's kind of like stuck to like a shelf or something, like in front of the chefs and the cooks. So basically a shelf of spruce wood or spruce slabs with item frames, and then paper looks like orders. So I don't know if that's got a specific name, but like order sheet or order list or something like, I don't know, I've seen it when I've watched a lot of Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. I'm going to place a block of iron here, light grey concrete, double block of iron. So for the light grey, also the pressure plate again. So the pressure plate is going to go on top of here with a button. Sort of looks like a freezer of sorts. This looks like a fridge if you place buttons in here. And then we're pretty much done with this area. If you further want to decorate the area with, I don't know, lanterns, or if you want to put pictures up, or, you know, whatever the case may be, then that's completely up to you. But, I mean, I'm actually quite happy with how this is outfitted. It looks how I would imagine, or it's... Yeah, it looks how I would imagine it would look like, so I'm actually quite happy with that. Along this back wall here inside, now, and by the way, we are rapidly approaching the point where we can no longer build without more materials. Along this back wall here, we want to kind of create a little service station. So we want to have 2 rows of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 light grey concrete on the left and right, just across the back here. We want to have a quartz stairs here, so this is just like leaving a gap of 1 just above here. We want to have quartz stairs. We want to have flower pots, kind of like a couple of flower pots here on the left side, a couple of flower pots here on the right side. We're going to use item frames. Now, item frames, these are going to represent saucers, so this is the saucy side here on the right side. And we'll just have some other like decorations as well when we come back in a second. This is going to kind of like be the drinks side, and then we just kind of like have to put tables in here and kind of like a little takeaway station, and then that'll be it. Like, I don't know whether we can get any more utility out of the materials that we have or not, but I'm just going to assume that that's a no, and if we do end up needing some of the same materials again, then we'll grab them. But I'll be back in a moment once I've figured out the final materials that we're going to be using. Okay, like I said, I'm not 100% sure that these are all of the final materials, but here are all of the materials that we are going to be using for the rest of the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. So, we're going to be starting off red concrete, blue concrete, item frame, black stained glass, stone buttons, leather, sea pickles, painting, and brown dye. So, on the left side here, where we have the quartz stairs, we're going to have a blue concrete, red concrete on top. We're going to have a button on the bottom, item frame on the top, black glass pane in front, sort of a drinks machine. It's sort of like a drink selector, and underneath the stair, I want to have a lever specifically pointing forwards. We want to have a painting, or a couple of paintings just here on the left. It's just a nice bit of decoration. I want to also, by the way, where we have this kitchen area, I also want to have some paintings, and it's actually going to be difficult to do. Well, I mean, just one painting is fine, but I kind of wanted a collage of paintings, but I guess we can do this here. So I want to have like a little collage of paintings. So maybe like a couple of 2x2s. So maybe like a 2x2 here, a 2x2 there, and then maybe like a one. You see, that's a problem. Oh, and then one here, and then I guess that we've just. I'm sorry, Pot, but you've got to go. Your time is up. And then we can place, there we go, that's perfect. And then we can just put the pot back there. Sea pickles, basically just like you can grab your own sauces and stuff, so I figured that just loads of parts and cutlery and stuff would kind of be about the place. And since you kind of do have like a sauce station, one might say, then I'm just using a load of different dyes to represent that. We're going to need some orange terracotta, yellow terracotta, birchwood stairs, spruce wood fence, spruce wood, pressure plate, and that's all we can get at the moment. But I'm going to fill in these item frames with the different dyes, and it just doesn't that look good? Or at least I hope it does. I'm pretty happy with how that looks. I think that looks pretty decent. Now we have to kind of like create the seating situation. The seating situation is not too hard to do. So if we come all the way over to like the right side of the restaurant, we leave a gap of 2 between the grey concrete here, and we're going to place a yellow terracotta, orange, yellow in a row of 5. Take the middle, orange, yellow, so we've kind of like made a T shape. Leave a gap of 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, and then we are going to have the same thing opposite this. So kind of like two booths, essentially, is what this is. And if you want, I mean, you can lay them out in different ways, right? So what I mean by that is like we could have a circular booth like this, we could have a double booth like this, and then we could even alternate them onto this opposite side, or you could have them all this way, or you could have them all this way, or you could have them all this way. Like, it doesn't really matter how you do it. I mean, it's really kind of like subjective. It's up to you. Feel free to mess about with it, mix and match, but you've kind of got like a few different options when it does come to like just figuring out like the table configurations. Like, you might like something that's a little bit you might like something that's different from what I like, and that's okay. So what we're now going to do is at the front of Nando's, we're going to place an orange terracotta and then a yellow terracotta. These are in front of the spruce planks, and then we're just going to have 2 tables. So basically just back to back birch stairs here, and we'll have to place that here as well. I mean, we could even place like an extra orange terracotta there, and we could even wrap that around, actually. Like, we can use orange terracotta and we can wrap this around and make a table. We could even have like a little waiting seat here, and I'll explain that in a second. But we want to have tables in between all of these chairs, and we are going to place pressure plates on top of all of these, and it's really starting to look quite nice. It's starting to look a nice little bit crowded. I really like this. Good vibes from this place. I have red concrete. That's for oh, that's because of earlier. We need. Do we have pots? Yes, we do have pots. Of course we do. Spruce saplings, pots, spruce saplings, lanterns, and red shulker box. So I don't know whether you have these in America, but a lot of like delivery drivers have like I mean, of course, delivery drivers would have this everywhere, but there's like a specific bag. It's like a red bag, and the shulker box the red shulker box kind of reminds me of that. So just a couple of these. It kind of looks like a takeaway bag that the driver would have or be loaded up with or what have you. So that's what these are, and just like a little waiting seat for, I don't know, it just seems appropriate. And I'm going to have lanterns. These are going to hang around, basically just on the right side of the restaurant and on the front of the restaurant where we have the beams, I will call them, just like this. And then it's pretty much just a case of kind of like decorating around a little bit. And I mean, just a couple of, I think we only need a couple really. I don't think that we have to go crazy. And I mean, you can use pots as other decoration as well, but just a couple of parts, some spruce saplings kind of fits the vibe, just some parts it just by themselves kind of looks like cups, and that's it. I mean, we've kind of done. The only thing that I have forgotten but we can do right now is add a door. So when it comes to the door, I'm not sure about the door, but I don't know whether I'd prefer spruce or whether I would prefer a dark oak door. I sort of use dark oak doors all the time, and that does look better to me, but maybe we'll use the spruce, and that's sort of it. I've just got to clean up a little bit, and then we can take a good look at what we've just built. So this is what your Nando's will look like once it has been 100% fully completed. I hope that you guys have enjoyed building this as much as I enjoyed designing and making this with you today. If you have enjoyed the tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button, as it really helps me in the channel out very, very much. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Click that little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you have all of the notifications turned on. Very, very important. And if you do want to make anything else by me, check out the card system, the description below, and the top of the comment section for more. I would specifically point you to the City Builds playlist, which is my baby. I love that thing. I've been making so many different city builds. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm enjoying watching that playlist grow and getting just better and better and filled with new and interesting things every single week. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.